G'day folks, welcome back to All Will Fall. I hope you guys are doing well. In the previous episode, we managed to build up the Stink Tower, at least a little bit more. There's nothing on the very top of it just yet, but I'm hoping to be able to build on top of this tower and then have a little bit more production going on here as well. Now, speaking of production, I feel like we're slowly but surely going towards ruin here. I say that because water is dwindling, food is dwindling, and I feel like we need a way to be able to turn things around. And when I think about everything, I think maybe there's been a bit more of an over-reliance on both junk and wood, not only to produce fuel, water, but also for our food source as well. Now, if we are going to sustain things, I feel like we are going to need to more reliably produce wood and produce junk without having to, I suppose, rely on, whatever is going on in the ocean, so to speak, right? Because at the moment, we're at the mercy of just whatever is going on down here, right? So perhaps maybe the best way to do that would be to increase the number of junk catchers and the number of wood catchers that we've got available to us. And we do have a bunch of people still working in the gathering huts, and they're still doing work here. Because there are a few piles here and there which they are gathering from, but I do feel like that kind of work is a little bit slow, and perhaps maybe shifting them to these types of workplaces is going to be a little bit more reliable in terms of production for us. So that's sort of my aim in this episode, to perhaps maybe shift around the way we think about our workforce, and perhaps maybe that might give us a bit of a boost of water and food production. Mind you, there's probably still going to be a need at this point to also build ourselves another mushroom farm, and I don't know about the desalinator and whether or not we actually need another desalinator facility. But perhaps maybe we do need to produce some more fuel, though. Perhaps maybe it's the fuel output that's not fast enough, and therefore we're not making as much water as we would like. So I think that's the plan. So let's get to it. First things first is let's maybe resolve wood, and we get... Yeah, we could also do wood cranes. That might not be a bad move. But yeah, let's get wood catchers in. This is going to require a little bit of junk and a little bit of wood though, so... But yeah, I think that's a decent start. Hopefully that'll get built soonish. And I'm just looking at what's going on here. We do need some engineers, obviously, gathering up some of our junk, so I do need to maybe pull some engineers off of somewhere. The question is, do I actually have any engineers on hand? Very good question. Where are my engineers? They might actually be in these towers. I've got 3 engineers working in that one. Got an engineer in here. And we're a little bit low on the junk at the moment, so perhaps maybe we can lower our water output a tiny bit. Grab a couple of engineers from there and drop them in here. Again, the idea is not to over-rely on our cranes at some point, so we've got to make a point of checking back on our cranes and shifting people around when we need to. Bit of junk up there. Perhaps maybe we can try and grab it. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna keep all of this, because this seems like a lot of wood wasted. Perhaps maybe we can recover all of that. In fact, I might actually go ahead and do that. Yeah, that looks alright. Maybe even a little bit more, like so. That should give us a little bit more wood in the bank. Okay, so... workplaces. There are plenty of workplaces for people. Let's get our workers off. And perhaps maybe just one more from here, because we can start getting these workers in. And from here, I'm hoping that we get quite a bit more wood going. We do have another couple of spare workers, in fact, so I might as well just throw the last two in there. Cool. Okay, so we do have a bit of junk and a bit of wood coming in, and perhaps maybe this is a decent time to invest in some of our gathering tech. And I don't mind perhaps maybe getting a wood crane just to speed up the gathering of wood. Just because our wood gathering boats seem to be struggling trying to get all of the wood that's available in this area. So, yeah, we could do something like that. Again, we should be perhaps very vigilant in determining whether or not we have people occupying some of these cranes. Okay, research is done. Now we do have a new quest here, Beyond Basic Needs. So people are asking for certain things, and depending on which building we aim for, we will be able to gain quite a bit of loyalty from that group. So if there's any group that needs a little bit more loyalty, it's going to be the workers, right? So they want us to build a bar. And in order for us to do that, I think we're going to need to research it. Yeah, actually it is over here. Now, it's a bit tricky because we do need to actually get either the watchtower first or the leisure buildings. And I'm thinking of going with the watchtower purely because it does produce a little bit of influence for us every so often. So we'll try to get that going. It does consume 20 wood, but I think at the moment that should be okay. And I'm hoping that we can research that pretty quickly, because then we do need to research the bar pretty quickly as well to then build it, right? So it is a bit of a race against time. One other thing that I would like to address is the amount of docks that we have. So I think in the previous episode I did say we were trying to clear this area to try and make way for a couple of docks. Now, I've just realized that the reason why this isn't getting done is because there's no pathway for our demolition guys to get there. So hopefully that should resolve it. And you know what? We probably don't need to wait too much. We can probably get like one dock in there immediately, just to relieve the pressure with the amount of boats that we have. And that should again speed up our gathering process as well. Let's let people have a bit of a rest. Alright, a ship with passengers is passing by. We can get either some sailors, workers, or engineers. And just because we do need a little bit more loyalty from our workers, I think I'm going to go with a couple more workers just to bump up that loyalty a little bit. We do need one house immediately as a result though, so we've got to address that right now. And in fact, I might start building on top of this layer here. Alternatively, I could opt to build some houses right here. That might actually be a better way to get it done. So why don't we move the fishing hut? Oh, I can even tuck the fishing hut back in there. That's kind of cool. But I probably would need to, like, get some of this stuff removed. Yeah, in fact, that is becoming a bit of a problem. So that should do. And in fact, if we do build more fishing huts, we could probably build a few more out here. Okay, looking good. Yep, junk is still coming in. Let's just double check that we, in fact, have junk to work on. There's more junk down here, which it could be a bit of a struggle to try and get to, but we could perhaps maybe build towards it. There's a bit of wood down here. I think that's pretty easy to try and get our hands on. Yeah, that looks good. Now, let's address the homelessness issue. So I think maybe we should do a junk house. And I'm thinking maybe we want to do something like that. Add a little bit more surface area. I think that looks decent. We probably do need to add just a little landing like so. Then we can place the next few houses around here. Okay, not bad. Happiness is obviously a little low still for our workers. And here comes another batch of people. So again, we're going to need to address housing once more. Should be okay. I think we should be able to fix it up. But one of our cranes is now not operational anymore. But that's okay, because what I can do is actually shift these engineers into this crane instead, and that's going to speed up the gathering of wood. Alternatively, I could try and go for that over there, but let's not worry about it. In fact, I'm just going to shift focus on the housing crisis. Okay, good, and one more, please. Alright, looks good. Now, it's tempting to get some decorations in right now, but I'm just a little concerned about not having enough resources for other stuff. Maybe I can just add like a tiny little bit, you know, just to keep a few people happy. So maybe we go with some rooftops. I think I can just put a rooftop like that. That would actually keep a couple of houses happy. Because there is likely going to be a need for us to build on top of these rows of houses anyway. So let's see how that goes. Yeah, our good old human trading post, which, yeah, I don't know if I'm really going to be interacting with it too much, to be honest. Okay, let's just keep an eye out on stuff. Yeah, wood is piling up. I do like that. And we've got a huge workforce that we can now employ to do more stuff. So, water is looking really bad right now, so let's get... I would say maybe another engineer in there. And because we've got an influx of wood, we should actually get the boiler sort of going at maximum. Now I do want to try and boost our wood production even more. And one of the things that we researched in the previous episode was the wood presser. So I'm keen on actually trying to get that into play. And additionally, I don't really know if the elevator has been built properly, but this will be a very good test to see if it in fact has been. Because I'm going to build this up top right here, assuming everything holds. Which I think it does. So let's see. Yeah, it is getting built, which means people are using the elevator. Fantastic. So we should be able to get either engineers or workers in here. Let's throw in a couple of our workers there. And let's see, we do have one more sailor. Unfortunately, we don't really have any boats for this sailor, but we could probably just put the sailor in here. And I'm just looking here, we do have one more worker. And I'm thinking about how to employ this worker, to be honest. Perhaps maybe... yeah, maybe in the gathering hut is fine, or... Or I could take the engineer back out of the water boiler and have that engineer work on the crane. That might not be a bad idea, in fact. So if I move the crane here... yeah, it still has an entry point, so I should be able to just pull... hang on. We had the engineer here, didn't we? So let's pull from there. A couple of engineers. Throw them in here. And I'd probably want like a couple more workers in there. So we just need to make sure that we're maintaining water production. So let's try and figure things out here. We've got wood coming in and junk coming in here to produce some fuel. And we're consuming 10 and 14 junk to do, sorry, not junk, and 14 wood to do that. To produce 8 fuel, and that 8 fuel is then being converted to 20 water. For 6 wood, we get 9 water. I don't know if it's as efficient as I would like. Yeah, that's a tricky one, actually. I can't quite put a pin in that and figure out whether or not it's worth doing it that way. But we'll stick with it for the time being. And I'm just wondering whether or not we would want like an additional junk catcher, because we also still need a steady supply of junk. So this takes 8 junk to produce 14 water. I feel like we have an oversupply of junk in here, but not enough wood. That's surprising because we do have quite a lot of wood production going. But in comparison, our junk production is quite low. So let's get in another electric junk catcher, and I'm going to see if this is going to be causing a problem for our grid or not. Assuming it might, we might need to expand power production a little bit more. Okay, we've got a couple of events here. There's a lost child tragedy. A parent says that their kid was playing near the water when a sudden wave swept him away. No one was close enough to save him in time. Oh man. -2 loyalty. Throw the parent over the rail into the water. -1 citizen. Her 40 influence. I mean, I kind of want to get the watchtower built anyway, so perhaps maybe we can go with this event. But the research is coming along real slow, isn't it? Then there's the sailing trader. And I don't really think we have anything to trade for now. So let's not worry about it. And it is another day already, isn't it? So let's just have a look at what's going on here. Production output is full. Okay. I mean, that's good news. It means that we should see wood coming back up. But water is what worries me the most. I feel like maybe we're just simply not producing as much fuel as I would like. I'm wondering whether or not there's, you know, an issue with the distance between our storage and the production area. That might be causing an issue. I think our research has just completed as well, so we do want to get on top of that very quickly and get researching the bar going. Let's just take a look at our energy options here. Yeah, let's try to build ourselves another one of these. Just to see if we can, you know, get some more fuel produced. Oh, okay, apparently... Oh, I see what's going on. Our new building is blocking the way. let's move it then. So I think that should do the trick. And then, I don't know, I'm feeling like I want to perhaps maybe reshuffle our mushroom farm a little bit. And perhaps maybe have the mushroom farms on top. Maybe even the water boilers on top. Might be decent to do that. But people are waiting on stuff. There's no fuel in storage, yeah. Let's keep an eye on our junk. Okay, so junk is not coming in anymore, in fact. So just as well, let's take off a couple of engineers from here. Get a couple of them working in there. I think this... I don't know if this is still producing. Let's take engineers off of there. Yeah, I feel like we may need more electric junk catchers. But I kind of want to see what happens when this one's operational, and whether or not we have enough electricity production. Yeah, water is going back down, and going back down fast. Okay, throw a couple of our engineers in there, and I think, yeah, this is probably not operational anymore, so let's take a couple of our engineers off of that as well, throw one of them in here, and I suppose for now, just as a landing area, engineer can be put into the gathering hut. No junk. Yeah, we are very, very low on the junk, aren't we? There is a storm right now, and I'm hoping that might actually give us more junk to work with. But if there's no junk to work with, perhaps maybe we can pull these guys off. And they might be able to work on other stuff until more junk comes back in. Even the boats are idling, which is not the best. Okay, and that's what we're going to have to do for now. So we're getting a little bit desperate for the junk now, which I didn't really count on happening. I wonder if we can get that opened. Maybe even that. Try and give our demolition guys stuff to do. They are still working on that though. We'll try to get them to work on all of this as well. But our gatherers, they're running out of things to do. I don't know if it's wise to try and go for that little bit of junk there, because I don't know if that's entirely stable. Okay, let's just progress things a little bit. I think people are going to start dehydrating soon, once more. Yeah, our production is definitely too low on the waterfront. Do you need to try and turn that around? We are getting a decent amount of wood, so this is probably where some decisions around maybe returning to wood boilers would be a good idea. Actually, I do need to turn that around. Something like that. I don't know if one is going to be enough, but we'll see how we go. We can obviously steal the workforce from elsewhere. Okay, the storm has passed, so I'm just checking for more junk and more wood. It's definitely quite a bit of wood. What I might do for the boats is to prioritize the gathering of this stuff, which is not reachable by the cranes. And let's shift around the cranes. 75% efficiency, not the best, but I'll take it. Okay, so that looks decent. I do need more engineers to do the work though, so let's steal more engineers, and I might steal a couple more engineers from here for the other crane. That should bump up both our junk and wood production. Just watching what the boats do, because I am sort of telling them to prioritize all of this. We'll get them to prioritize these as well. And we'll let them leave the crane up here in peace. Actually, there's no pathway to get to the crane, is there? Okay, well, that's a problem. We can resolve that, though. Shouldn't be too difficult. So maybe something like that, and like that. Locked to 75%, that's fine. It'll still be able to do the job. This is still half built, apparently. And yeah, we're struggling to find the resources for that bar. Apparently. Okay, it's probably the junk that's keeping it back. Okay, another day in our slow road to ruin, it feels. We've got people dehydrating. Yeah. Here we go. So, I'm not entirely sure why this isn't getting built. We do have the resources for it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I would like to put people in immediately. If I can find the people for it. I suppose I will pull our workers off and get them working on the wood boiler. Okay, word spreads. That's kind of worrying because we don't exactly have the resources to sustain more people. I might even decline taking on more people until we can sort of turn things around here. So we might even take their stuff. What do you guys think? I mean, that seems like a good idea to me. Let's do it. We've taken their stuff. I do want to build that tower, right? Because we did commit to that. And people are going to get upset if we don't build it. So let's get things built up over this way. And I think we should be able to build the tower maybe on top. So let me just build this out a tiny bit. Yeah, that looks alright. So the tower itself can maybe go there. And yeah, we do need one sailor to occupy it though, so I think we did get one sailor. Okay, so we've got an influx of junk right now compared to wood. So I'll pull my workers off of the wood boiler and drop them into the junk to water towers. I'll take one additional worker from there. And yeah, we'll see if we can try and turn it around. It's a bit slow for a lot of the wood to be coming into our fuel converters here. Are we going to be able to make this in time? I don't know. People might be a little bit too busy. And perhaps maybe too dehydrated to care. Oh lord, okay. I think a whole bunch of people are going to die here. We've got 20 people. Yeah, that's looking pretty horrid. And this bar situation is not happening. So I might just bite the bullet and tell people that they can't have nice things. And this watchtower is definitely not getting built in the next couple of hours. Oh man. So much for getting the research done in time. I'll keep it there anyway because we still want some of that influence to come in. So we just took a hit to the citizenry. We're down to 37 people. And that means a lot of our workplaces will be empty. I probably need to figure out who's remaining to do what job. And we probably do need to just take a look at our resource panel here just to figure out what is the immediate need. I'd say water, because water also feeds into our food production. I wonder if it was a bad idea, or if it was a better idea to perhaps remove, or sorry, not remove, to have accepted the folks who wanted to live here. At least we have like another 4 people, but perhaps maybe they could have all died in that mass dehydration event. Oh lord. Okay, so let's rethink things here. So we've got fuel still being produced, and our water production from fuel is still running. But I'm sort of starting to question whether or not that's really sustaining us or not. Electricity is dropped to 0%, so I guess for these junk cranes we do need electricity production. A lot of our boats are not occupied either. So I'm just going to see if I can gather up all of the folks that are remaining, just to figure out who we have. We've only got like 4 sailors. Okay, we want all of the sailors to be doing stuff related to sailing, obviously. So the junk boat definitely needs sailors. So we've got a fishing boat down there to gather up some fish. But I'm thinking maybe we probably do need to prioritize gathering wood. Okay, where's our one other sailor? Not 100% sure. I do need a worker in there. And probably another worker in here. We do need electricity for this. Okay. How many engineers do we have? 12. Got engineers in here. Engineers doing research on stuff. Okay. I think what we want is to place more of our workers in the wood boiler. And I've got one more worker free here. Do we want to get junk or wood? I've got junk going there, and that's about it. I think I'll put them in the junk catcher. And one more engineer in there as well to gather up a little bit more junk. Actually, I'd take that back. I'll put one more engineer in here. It'll run at 50% capacity, obviously, but it's better than nothing. And we'll see if we're able to sort of turn things around. I think people are getting thirsty again, though. So that's worrying. Yeah, let's see what's going on here. They're looking for junk. Ah, okay. The junk has disappeared. Which means we probably want to shift our engineers into the junk catchers instead. And yeah, we'll have this guy also use the junk catchers. I'm just looking at electricity production. It looks like things are hanging on with just one of our wind turbines running. So our demolition guys are very idle right now. And I'm sort of tempted to see if I can't, like, remove them and get them to work elsewhere. At least for the time being. Maybe even the metal gathering hut. We could probably pull people off of there and have them working on something a little bit more tangible for now, you know? Like gathering wood. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so we've got bit more junk spawning in. Oh man. Game keeps doing this to me, but we've got more of this stuff in now. And I probably do want to shift all of our guys back to the cranes. Alright. Well, let's get it done then. It's the engineers that we need. The junk boats or wood boats can focus on that. Junk boat is also running, isn't it? Yeah. So we'll have them prioritize on this side. Yeah, looks good to me. Alright, so some positive numbers there for water. Looking good. But we probably do need to do something about food. Yeah, I think we could probably get ourselves one more mushroom farm. But the problem is Now I don't really have the workforce to run the mushroom farm. I wonder if I can get the mushroom farm up here. I do have the resources for it. So I may as well just build it for now. And once the people actually come in, we'll hopefully be able to get the mushroom farm running. Another day where we are barely hanging on. I'm considering whether or not I should be pulling our engineers off of the research lab and just having them sort of participate, all hands on deck, so to speak, to try and gather more resources. I think it sounds like a decent idea. You know, desperate measures. Okay, let's hope things turn around a little bit. We've got the ghost ship event once more. If we tell people to work overtime, we'll get a bit of junk. I don't really need the steel. Or I get some influence. I think we'll go with this option, just to give us a little bit of that junk injection. People haven't even come up this way to construct the tower just yet. I don't know if perhaps maybe there's no pathway up there, or perhaps maybe people are a little bit too busy doing other stuff. I think we've assigned most people some work. Yeah, okay, so our electricity is looking pretty dire. Is there anything I can sacrifice to bring up our electricity production? Because these things aren't exactly working to their full capacity anyway. I think I'll take one worker off and I'll shift them up to the turbine. Probably not the most ideal job for him, but, you know, he's gonna have to bite the bullet. There it is. Okay, good. Our water is definitely climbing a little bit. Now it's just going to be our food that is the next priority. So I feel like maybe the reason why certain things are not getting built very quickly is because I don't have too many idle hands during the day. They build things during the night. Quite possibly. Oof. Our food. Our food is looking really bad. Word spreads, that's great. And yes, I will welcome everyone this time around. But we're gonna need people to pitch in, like, immediately. So, as soon as this is done, we'll get people in trying to produce more mushrooms. And it seems like I've got a couple more engineers here, which could be good. I might want to, like, have them gathering junk. Just trying to see here if there's any priority shift that we need to make. Do we have any sailors? We do have one sailor. I think we just get him into this boat straight away, so we can increase its efficiency. I could put the sailor into the watchtower, but considering how we're going right now, that's probably not the best idea. Yeah, other workers and engineers, I think we'll just chuck them in here. Try and get junk and wood production. So, worker in there. I could do like a couple in here. Maybe that's not so bad. Watchtower has spotted something. I mean, how could that be? Because we don't even have anyone in there. A small raft has been spotted drifting nearby. It seems there are a couple of people still alive, but they are in horrible condition. Oh no. We don't have the water or the food for these guys. Dump the bodies and take their stuff. In true abrasive fashion. Let's do it. Yep. We don't exactly have too much choice, guys. That's all we can do for now. Blame the times. Don't blame good old Blue for the bad times. Well, actually, no, I take that back. These bad times are probably our doing anyway. Oh, here it is. Finally getting built. Okay. Let's get these engineers off, and we need them in here straight away. Okay, so water does climb a little bit during the day. But is it even enough though? We've got plenty of petrol, sorry, not petrol, fuel coming in. Well, I mean, it's the same thing, right? So we should be getting like a decent output of water. So we should be getting 18 in. And this consumes 5. I mean, you could argue to create one additional desalinator, but then the second desalinator might not operate to full capacity, just to utilize all of the fuel that's being made. Another thing that could be considered is perhaps maybe just, you know, continuing along the pathway, seeing our fuel bank up a little bit before maybe shifting some of the workers from the fuel refineries. I mean, it's looking all right. I'm sort of hoping that our food reserves will actually come up a little bit, thanks to all of this water production now having come back up a little bit. Okay, we're still hanging on, just by a thread. But I'm sort of hoping that during this day, we start seeing the food production coming up a little bit. We can get some junk for the goods that we have. I don't see a need for goods right now, so that seems like a decent deal. Let's see. Production 96 per day, apparently. We're still getting negative numbers there. Red numbers. but it is above our consumption rate. So perhaps maybe we might see this turn around. Either that, or we do need just at least one more. A mushroom farm. Just trying to figure out how to best utilize our cranes. Game is definitely not making it easy on us. But there's a bunch of junk down there I could try to work towards. So I might leave that crane there, and maybe I'll bring this one over. That seems good. We'll take the workers off and place them in here. The wood crane, however, we could probably just simply shift that here. Yeah, that's a decent amount of wood down there. So let's see how that goes. So our water production is definitely looking good, but our food production is still struggling. So I'm gonna do one more mushroom farm. I don't have the workforce for it, but what we could do right now, considering the way the water has shifted, is we could take the workforce from one of the boilers. Okay, let's hope they get this built pretty quickly. A lot of them are sort of just hanging around, not doing too much. Word spreads once more. We will welcome everyone, since, you know, there's plenty of housing to go about here. And I need the extra hands anyway. And we may as well put these guys to work immediately in the mushroom farm. And I've got a couple of extra engineers on hand. So what do we desperately need to do? Perhaps maybe, just judging by the numbers right now, maybe getting a little bit more wood production wouldn't be so bad. And yeah, luckily I haven't really needed to shift the guys making the water. So should be good. I'm starting to think about whether or not it might be a decent idea to get a couple more docks on this side, and perhaps maybe a storage area sort of set up where, you know, the stink tower is, because it could be that things are taking a while because they're needing to be transported through this area here, which is arguably maybe a little bit of a choke point, right? So if we can get the boats delivering stuff to this side, it might be a decent move. Yeah, we are almost empty on the food, in fact. So I really hope that turns around thanks to the next mushroom farm. But it's looking very, very close, isn't it? Let's double check on all of our cranes, obviously. No valid access to junk? What do you mean? Oh, I see what's going on. We might actually find ourselves in a situation where these cranes are a little bit too high to be able to access the junk down there. If that's the case, maybe what we need to do is like build like so. Maybe. Yeah, I think that's resolved the issue. I mean, we do have the junk boat working on all this junk here as well. So, arguably, maybe there's no need. Oh, there's some new junk over here as well. A storm is going to be coming through though, which makes me a little bit worried. I could try to go for it though. I'll need to pull some guys and put them into the gathering huts though, if we were to do that. Nah, let's not worry about it. We've got these operating as they should. The main concern really is producing more food. So let's just take a look at this again. We've got... Yeah, okay, the consumption is definitely higher than production right now. Oh. The game is not liking me wanting to place more mushroom farms up here. Perhaps maybe things are getting a little bit too heavy. Let's just see if we can put it on the other side. Yeah, not happy. It's happy on this corner, probably because we've got the steel holding things up. I will place it down though. Now, hopefully it gets built pretty quickly. Yeah, so happy that we've managed to turn the water around. But this food production is still quite frustrating. And I think perhaps maybe the numbers update at night as well. Average 35 per day. I guess I should be going by the averages. Ship with passengers coming by. I think I'm going to say yes to workers. So we'll get a couple of workers in. And we'll be able to immediately use them for more food production. Granted, they build this pretty quickly. Yeah, there we go. So... it is still seriously dwindling, which is not great. But I'm hoping for a bit of a turnaround when we come back to the next episode, guys. We are signing out here. Unfortunately, we lost the majority of our population, but we're building back up. And hopefully, we'll be able to sustain moving forward. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you're enjoying things so far, obviously dropping that like definitely helps the channel out quite a bit. Stay true, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.